Kamala Harris reemerged from a 6-month recovery after the 2024 election. Naturally, she chose the left's therapy clinic for her reintroduction, Stephen Colbert's CBS late-night show that will soon end. The crowd erupted when she walked out to an audience that is obviously vetted by political ideology. Kamala was safe in a perfect little echo chamber on Manhattan's West Side. After telling her how rested she looked, Colbert asked Kamala if she decided against running for California governor because she had a higher office in mind, hinting, of course, at 2028. Kamala's answer to that question really said a lot. Take a listen.
Recently, I made the decision that for now, I don't want to go back in the system. I think it's broken. I believe, and I always believed, that as fragile as our democracy is, our systems would be strong enough to defend our most fundamental principles. And I think right now that they're not as strong as they need to be, and I just don't want to, for now, I don't want to go back in the system.
Kamala did not win. The system must be broken. Think about the arrogance of that statement. It kind of reminds us of Hillary Clinton, entitled to win the election. Hillary had the glass ceiling ready, the Javits Center. It was time for a woman president. She had done everything except actually work for the votes. She didn't really campaign, and Trump beat her by doing multiple rallies every single day. Kamala clearly felt the same during her campaign. It was something like her right to win the election. Anointed by a Democrat Party that was terrified of upsetting black voters, Democrats cleared a path for their weakest candidate, and they got trounced. Kamala calls that a broken system. It would have been broken if she had won. It would have been really disappointing. Her new book is called 107 Days. That's the book that she's now pushing, trying to sell, which is Kamala's excuse for losing. Even in the title of it, it's the excuse for why she lost. Every time she talks about the experience of running, she always reminds us that she only had 107 days, the shortest campaign in history.
It was an intense experience.
To run for president in a way that no one had run before.
Well, to run for president, period, but certainly in a way that no one had done before, and in 107 days. I was so conscious and aware of the short time that we had. 107 days, traveling the country, fighting for our future. The shortest presidential campaign in modern history.
Now, it is true that 107 days is a short campaign. That's true. But in reality, that was actually the advantage for Kamala Harris, and she knows it. She just doesn't want you to know that. Remember, her polling peaked the moment that she came out. As soon as she arrived, she was doing great, and everybody was looking at this thing like, what the hell's going on? Everybody's confused. Trump has to reconfigure how they're going to handle this. And then her polling fell like every single day for the next couple of months as people realized just how incapable she is of actually handling the presidency. In truth, Biden needed to drop out around Halloween for Kamala to have a chance at winning on November 5th. The one thing that Kamala did right last night was act normal. She was herself in that interview. No weird accents, no goofy stuff because she's not campaigning. But she still wasn't entirely authentic. We all know Kamala's biggest liability as a candidate was that she had to pass as a prosecutor in the primary, right? By the left's new woke standards, working in the law and order realm effectively makes somebody like a Nazi. That's the way they see it these days. So Kamala being a prosecutor was something she always had to run away from as she ran for office these last 5-6 years. But it wasn't always this way. It wasn't always that way with Democrats. They didn't always vilify people that worked in law and order, things like that. This is a relatively new thing in this country. This phenomenon is very bizarre. It's very scary. It's very Marxist. It's also very new. But Kamala last night pretended that in her household, even while growing up, that the entire family and herself were always woke. Take a listen to this.
When I was young in my career, I had to defend my decision to become a prosecutor with my family. And one of the points that I made is, why is it then when we think we want to improve a system or change it, that we're always on the outside on bended knee or trying to break down the door? Shouldn't we also be inside the system? And that has been my career.
Give me a break. Kamala pretending that she became a prosecutor because she wanted to change the system from the inside, and that she was everything that she needed to be in 2022, she already was back in 1980. She was the first woke warrior back in the early 1980s as she descended into politics. That is just priceless. How many black men did she imprison for simple possession of marijuana? Kamala was a cop. She wanted to put every bad person in jail, or at least she wanted to do that job for some reason. It's as simple as that. It's probably the only thing that would have made her electable in all reality, and it's the thing that she ran away from the fastest, which is why her campaign failed so miserably. She caved to all of that nonsense. She should have said, damn right, I'm a prosecutor, and if I get him, we're going to start putting people in jail in this country. She would have done way better. Only on Colbert could she get away with such a ridiculous claim as that she was going to get inside and change the system and fix it to make it more equitable. 40 years ago. Right. And now take a listen to this rant from the canceled host, Stephen Colbert. And as you listen to this, remember that this is not the Young Turks. This is a late-night comedy show on CBS.
Just hearing you describe that reminds me of something that it's so easy to forget now because the national mood is so grim in many ways, and people are so shocked by the abuses and the abhorrent corruption and the violence against neighbors here happening in the United States by our government, and the free rein being given by Congress and the Supreme Court to this president. That just less than a year ago, things were very joyful. There was actually a lot of hope associated with your campaign, and there was a lot of promise.
I mean, think about the fact that that's a CBS talk show host. I mean, that is such sycophantism. I can't even imagine saying something like that with a straight face. Yes, it's such a time of despair in this country, Stephen Colbert. What are we doing? We're deporting illegal immigrants, and we're getting rid of crime in the streets. It reminds us of the dark fascist days of our past when dictators like Barack Obama and Bill Clinton did the same thing. Terrifying. Again, CBS is supposed to be an unbiased network. They're not supposed to pick a side. How long until we finally fix that? I guess it's being worked on. The FCC needs to probably work faster. This is what their late night show has sounded like for 10 years. It sounded like that. I mean, again, that's the Young Turks. That's the furthest left podcast you can find. That's the way they sound. CBS. And just one more, a Colbert interview with a top Democrat wouldn't be complete without a major gaslight. And here's Kamala Harris pretending that she and Joe Biden are appalled by what's happening right now and did not use the way to the White House when they were in power to force American social media companies to censor content they didn't approve of and force businesses to bend to the almighty woke agenda, forced to suffer under their environmental social governance standards. Take a listen to this.
I did not predict was the capitulation. I didn't predict that.
People would roll over for this president.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that coming. I believed that on some level, there should be many who consider themselves to be guardians of our system and our democracy who just capitulated. And I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, if we're not blocking the president who was elected and won every swing state from doing his agenda, from implementing his mandate, then it's disgusting capitulation. What a spin that is. The Trump White House is actually freeing this country from some of its darkest times, from their dark agenda, a lot of which we saw really, really ugly stuff when we went underneath COVID. That whole pandemic, they always wait for an emergency to do the nasty stuff, and that's where we saw a lot of their darkest agenda. Freeing our universities of the Marxist grip that they have been under for such a long time, our elite universities. Freeing our broadcast networks from the grips of a radical political agenda like we see on the show that she's on when she says that. Under Trump, the left is losing its grip on our minds. They've had control over all of us in such a way. And they are flailing as they watch this all be dismantled because this is how they win. Unbiased television, unbiased education, and deporting millions of people that have been brought in to secure their agenda and to perpetuate their power. That's what's happening right now, and they're all screaming Nazi as it happens because their plans are getting thrown out the window, and they're terrified. How twisted that is of them to claim that this is some kind of disgusting capitulation as the president tries to just free these institutions of the grip of their ideological power. Equally twisted, last night, the man who brought you a 4-year invasion of illegal immigrants into this country, the man who just said millions of people should be dumped into your country, said that America is under attack as Trump works to send those millions of people that Biden treasonously dumped into our country back home. You know, everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel, it's always the same. But not us. We're different. We report the real news. No spin, just the facts. Turn to us, and you won't turn back.
Tune in to Rob Schmitt tonight on Newsmax.